Hello and welcome to day 4 of my Unveil Your Hidden Powers, Transform Your Shadows into Strengths. How's everybody doing today? Okay, day 4 we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. I cannot tell you how many people had this or have this, and I'm going to confess I do as well, or I had it. So we'll talk a little bit about that. I don't like to always use myself as an example, but a lot of women I coach, and just so you know, I do one-on-one coaching. I don't offer a lot because I clearly have a full-time job. But if you're interested in one-on-one coaching with me, put it in the comments below. Email me, Karen@KarenBarner.com, and we can chat about it. But imposter syndrome, just to kind of give you an overview, is the feeling that you doubt your skills, your talents, everything that you've achieved, and the fear that you're going to be found out or exposed as a pretender, a faker. What we used to call it back in the day, a poser. And even when you do well, you don't accept the accolades. You don't accept hey man, that was a great job. Instead you're like, oh no, it was my team, it was the universe, it was, the fact that it rained yesterday. It doesn't matter because you always think everybody else is smarter, brighter, more competent than you are. And I didn't realize that I was running this until I was talking actually I have a coach, to my coach, and she's like, have you ever listened to the way you introduce yourself? She goes, you talk about how, you're a founder and CEO of an organization of Arizona Alpha, and you founded it with 3 millionaires and a billionaire, and the reason they hired you is you were the one who made the least amount of money, but were also the least qualified. She said, you're setting it up right there as, I didn't really deserve this job and I don't know how I got it. She goes, there's nothing empowering about that. She goes, you did the work to put you into that room. And when I thought about it, I thought, you're right. So I've had to do, and these examples, and a lot of this stuff through this 15-day challenge and my coaching and all that, is stuff that I myself have had to work through. So I know it works. And I've used it on, women I coach, and, I've coached a lot of women, so it works on them as well. Okay, so how does imposter syndrome show up? I kind of touched on it a little bit. You doubt your accomplishments. Doesn't matter what you do, it's never enough. You have to always be busy. You always have to be taking the next ladder. You look at your book of goals, and it's jam-packed with these amazing goals. And as soon as you make one, it's like you check it off the list and you keep going. You don't take time to celebrate what you've done. Fear of failure. You're so afraid you're going to fail that you don't live up to expectations, so you get overwhelmed and you keep pushing yourself. Perfectionism. You won't put anything out until you've looked at it 10,000 times. You've had 18 people look at it. You've taken it back and looked at it. You've run it through all kinds of word checks and spell checks and punctuation checks to make sure it's good before you'll send it on. Even then, you're kind of like, you overwork. You're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You have a team with you, but you're still working like a dog. Or you just don't want to accept the praise. You just don't want to accept how good you are. And this is, like I said, this is common with women leaders. So we're going to talk about how we heal the shadow. How do we get to work? First of all, you need to acknowledge the feelings. You need to say, you know what? Maybe I don't accept praise, or maybe my story is a little undersold, or maybe when people compliment me, I deflect it. When they compliment and say, man, that was a great conference. Oh no, it was my team that did it. Or, that was a great presentation you just made. Man, I loved your presentation. I'd like to talk to you more about it. Well, and then you deflect it. So acknowledge your feelings. Recognize and admit that maybe you feel like a fraud. Maybe you feel like a pretender. Maybe you feel like a poser. Admit it. Because that's the first step to healing. Whenever you're trying to heal a shadow, the first step is to admit you have it. Because when you admit it, your brain's like, we have a challenge? I didn't know that. Because your brain only does what you tell it to do. Your brain's a computer. Whatever you put in is what you get out. Your brain will be like, well, if we feel like a imposter, we got to get to work and heal that. So then start talking about it. Have a trusted friend, have a mentor, hire a coach, people that you can talk to about your experience. Now, I've seen a lot of women leaders that are, CEOs, COOs, divisionals, regionals. And I'll say, well, who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to my friend who, works, I don't know where. And this sounds bad, but it's not meant to be. You need to talk to people that are kind of where you're at so they can meet you where you're at and kind of see what's going on. And then you need to reframe your mindset. You need to take the time to look at what your mindset, look at what you're telling yourself and what you're putting into your mindset, so you can reframe it and go from there, because that's reframing the mindset is extremely important. Then the way to reframe it, we're going to do a few little quick reframing things. You're going to shift from perfectionism to progress. Instead of trying to be a perfectionist, just dial back your expectations. I'm going to do a report and I'm going to get it out in 2 days instead of 15 minutes. I'm going to have 2 people look at it instead of 500 people look at it. Every step you take, celebrate it. I don't care if you picked up a pencil. Yay me, I picked up a pencil. And then you hit spell check and you spell checked it and that was it. You're done. And you celebrate that. Celebrate your small wins, because it'll lead to bigger wins. Always celebrate you. I don't care what you're doing, take time to celebrate and say, yay me. I have really had to work on that, and I gotta admit now I'm a pro. I do even the littlest thing and I'll be like, look at me kicking ass, because it makes me do the bigger stuff. Accept compliments and internalize success. When somebody compliments you, thank you. That is so hard to do. It is so hard to do, because you'll say thank you and people look at you like, is that it? What else is there to say? Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the kind words. Instead, what they're expecting is, oh, well, it wasn't much of this. I have trained myself to look at people and say, thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Develop a growth mindset. We talked about this yesterday, fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Believe in your capacity to learn and grow. Your brain is a computer. The wonders of your brain, whatever you tell it, it's going to believe you. It doesn't matter if it's true. You can tell your brain, you could be watching this right now, you can tell your brain, you know what? I'm a millionaire. And then you start taking the steps, the brain will be like, well, how do we get you there? How's that work out? You know what? My relationship with my spouse isn't what I need it to be. What do I want it to be? And your brain will, and then you tell your brain, I want to go on dates and, exotic vacations. And your brain will be like, okay, let's do it. It does whatever you tell it to. So have a growth mindset. Tell your brain, I don't want it 2 times, 5 times my life. I want it 10 times it. And your brain will get to work and figure out how to do it. Practice self-compassion. Self-love, ladies. That is so important. I will talk about that all the time. As somebody that did not practice self-love, that practiced a lot of self-hate and horrible negative self-talk, it is hard to learn to love yourself. But man, when you do, when you can look in the mirror and say, I like what I see. We've worked hard to be this person. We're doing good. And I talk to myself in the mirror all the time. My family's so used to it. If you change this stuff to start reframing your mind, you'll notice some seriously profound change. So just do these small steps and see where you're at to move yourself forward. So, I'm kind of stuttering here. Let's kind of recap real quick. I want you to look at, are you doubting your accomplishments? You have fear of failure, perfectionism, overworking, you don't accept praise. To me, when somebody deflects praise, I know right there they have a shadow of the imposter syndrome. And ladies, and gents, if gents are watching this, ladies, I know some CEOs that have this. So don't think it's like, oh, well, when I get to be a divisional or when I get to be a regional or when I get to be an executive director, I won't have this. This doesn't go away until you heal it. So you might as well decide right now you're going to heal it. You might as well say right now, I am done feeling like an imposter, because this baby goes with you until it's healed and it's over. So acknowledge your feelings, reframe your mindset, shift from perfectionism to progress, embrace failure as a learning opportunity. Don't get mad at yourself when you fail. Don't say, oh my God, what a pooch. I failed everything. I can never get anything right. Because now you're telling your brain your mind thing. When I fail now, I'm like, that's one way not to do something. And I say that all the time. My team will laugh at me because I'll be like, well, we just learned one way not to do something. And when I do it, even, I'll be at a conference and I'll come off from, talking, and I'll be like, I didn't like this. And I'll be like, well, that's a way not to do it. Accept compliments, like I said, self-love, all that, you guys, all of it. Take time, love yourself, know that you are an amazing, amazing woman. If and if you want to look back, and it was done as a comedy routine, but I've told some my clients to look at this, and it helps. Google Stuart Smalley Saturday Night Live. Years ago, they had this a guy, I can't think of who he was. Obviously, he's a famous comedian, and he would look in the mirror, and that was the skit. I am good enough. I am smart enough. I am pretty enough. And people, I mean, back then people were laughing, but really, it was self-love. He was trying to teach people how to be self-love. So Google it just to kind of see how it's done. And you can do it in a cute way, and you don't have to do it in front of people. It's not like I have to sit at the office and say, hey team, I love myself. I'm smart enough. I'm good enough. I'm pretty enough. I'm articulate enough. Whatever. You can internalize it. But the best thing to do is 2-3 times a day, look in the mirror and just tell yourself how amazing you are. And at first, you're going to listen to that voice and be like, man, I am amazing. And your self-talk might be, oh, look at how you're dressed, look at that. That's how you find shadows. Because like, oh, okay, when I first did it, and they'd be like, oh my God, look at you. I've had a lot of dental work done. So I focus on my teeth a lot. But look at your teeth. They kind of look like this or that. Now I look at myself and think, man, I like my smile. So follow these steps. Let's get this imposter syndrome healed. I will talk to you tomorrow for day 5 on our 15-day challenge. If you're looking at this, I think I said I was going to put it over on my Women in Circle Leadership, Circle of Women Leaders free Facebook group. And I do post it there, but I had so many people be like, you know what, I'm not on Facebook. I'm yada yada about Facebook. It's over on my LinkedIn channel as well, Karen Barno. And every video I do, and I do a lot of videos, are all posted to my YouTube, Karen Barno. Give me a subscribe. I'm really working on building my YouTube channel. I kind of have been neglectful of that over the years, so I'm trying to get a little bit better about YouTube. And again, if you want to coach, email me. We'll chat about what coaching with me is like, how much it costs, all that good stuff. Have a great day, and here's you ladies finding your blue rose.